Welcome back, football fans, to the Helmet to Helmet pod. Joined by my constant co host, Deuce. I am Stokes. We're going to talk all things football all the time. Deuce, exciting week one. How you been?
For who?
For everybody, especially Miami Dolphins fans, not so much
It
Buffalo
wasn't.
Bills fans.
Yeah, it was not an exciting weekend for me. Tell you that. Um, I do think. I don't know. It was pretty. I don't want. I don't know how to say it. I think it was pretty surprising. I guess you could say, or unpredictable. I think that's the word I'm looking for.
Uh-huh.
It's pretty unpredictable. A lot of. I don't even want to call them upsets because there were a lot of close games,
Yeah.
and the teams that everyone was rooting for, some of them just didn't prevail.
Yeah.
And I don't know what we want to talk about surprises first, or we're just gonna talk
Yeah,
about
I was
anything.
I
Like,
was gonna say one of the biggest takeaways for me, just overall NFL, was just the lack of offense. It really seemed like most of the big superstars and the big name offensive players just were not getting it done. I mean, you look across the league at some of the top guys. Mahomes honestly wasn't even great. Josh Allen, we'll get into that, was horrific Monday night.
Burrow bad.
Burrow even worse somehow. I didn't even know it was possible to be worse than Josh Allen was that Monday night.
Oh my
He was
god.
horrific. Lamar Jackson, very bad. Aaron Rodgers, we'll touch on his injury later. Obviously, his season with the Jets ended 4 plays in. I felt like overall league-wide offense, everything was just down.
Yeah.
Certain guys I thought played really well. I thought and I think I'll just kick us off here. One of my biggest surprises, the Matt Stafford rejuvenation, I thought was huge.
I
I
actually
thought,
had them too.
yeah, I oh, excuse me.
Bless you.
I thought he played fantastic. 334 yards with his best two receivers being, I'm gonna butcher this first name, Puka Nakua. I don't even know who that guy is, and Tutu Atwell. Two guys that are just your everyday journeyman receivers looking like. They each combined for 16 catches for 238 receiving yards. That's a huge day.
Yeah, with Puka, man, 10 catches for 119, bro.
Yeah.
Like no one knew who this dude was
Yep.
from. I think we said BYU earlier,
Yeah.
and
Yep.
like just out of like they don't have any receivers. I don't think you can name the 3 starters before the game started without Cooper Kupp.
No.
Like, I don't think anyone knew like, you could say Van Jefferson because 'cause he's been on the team for, like, 3 years now, but
Yeah.
past that, I don't think anyone would have been able to name it that wasn't a Rams fan,
Mhm.
and the Rams I'm more surprised in the defensive end
Yeah.
that the Rams got it done because that's the same side. I don't know who you can name on that defensive side of the ball that's not named Aaron Donald,
Yeah.
and 13 points they held, a good offense that we were or at least me,
Yeah.
I
Don't
thought was
don't
gonna be
put
a
me in
lot
that yet.
better.
Don't put me in that yet. For those of you who don't know, Deuce had this was very high on the Seahawks. Go check out episode 1 to hear Deuce's prediction. He had them winning a lot of games. I think a lot more than a lot of people think. So
Yeah,
don't
I
put
was
me in there yet.
very I was very high on that offense, and they, like, literally couldn't do anything. I'm pretty sure they only had, like, 30 yards in the second half or something like that, like, very low. And another crazy stat is that the Rams held them to 95 passing
Yeah.
yards. You can get 95 passing yards in a drive.
Yeah. Tua
The whole
Tagovailoa, and
entire
we'll talk
game.
about him later, had 85 passing yards in one drive.
Yeah, so holding a team to 95 passing yards on the day
Mhm.
is that's like a high school stat. Like
Yeah.
that does not happen.
Yeah.
But I think the Rams are hands down the biggest surprise.
Mhm.
If you want to go a more low key one is the Bucks.
Yeah.
Everyone, even me, I kind of wrote off the Bucks and they went into Minnesota and got it done.
Yeah.
And like they weren't amazing. Don't
No.
like they did not come in there and just roll,
No.
but they fought hard and
Yeah.
they wanted it more than the Vikings.
Yeah.
Kirk Cousins did not play that well. Obviously, I think both of us aren't really high on Kirk Cousins to begin with,
Agree.
but they went in there and they literally just punched him in the mouth and they laid right down. Like I don't know if you saw that Baker Mayfield fourth and goal, or it
Yeah,
wasn't fourth and goal, but
he was
fourth
talking
down,
his
just
talk.
put his
Yeah.
put his nose in there, and they just wanted it more.
Yeah, I think the biggest take I think Baker played better than he has in a couple of years. I think he played like an adequate NFL quarterback, nothing special, but the biggest thing, and we were both pretty down on the Vikings. I had them on my fraud watch last episode. Um, I think that last season they just won a bunch of really high variance one score games. And as you can already see, they lost more one score games in week 1 of this year than they did all of last season. Just
Yep.
I just am not in on the Vikings. I think the Bucks played just an adequate NFL game. Justin Jefferson still got his. I think that that's going to be what you're going to see a lot from them. I think you're going to see Justin Jefferson getting his. He's going to put up big numbers, and they're just probably going to lose a lot more games than they did last year.
Yeah, it's true. And then my like last one that I don't want to give them too much hype yet. Actually, I kind of tie it with the Pats slash Browns. I'm only saying the Pats because the Eagles went to the Super Bowl
Yeah.
and the Pats held their own. And I think that's like obviously they lost, but they started to come back in the second half. They had back to back drives with Kendrick Bourne, I think
Mhm.
back to back touchdown catches after he dropped the ball first drive to get that pick six from Darius Slay. But like Mac Jones looked respectable
Yeah.
in a downpour. And then the Browns, it's it's real hard to hold that fully loaded Bengals team to 3 points.
Yeah.
And I think the Browns defense is what they were expecting to be last year is really good now. But I feel like they weren't as good last year, but they should have been. I don't know what they did because the only acquisition that I can really recall is Zadarius Smith. Obviously, a great edge rusher,
Yeah.
but they looked good on defense because I don't even think it was that Burrow was like shooting them in the foot or anything. They were just draped over every receiver. They were always in the backfield. Like I don't think it was the Bengals that shot themselves in the foot. They were locking up the
Yeah.
entire game. Every ball was contested. Obviously, Miles Garrett was getting in there and
Yeah.
everything. I just think they got outworked. I don't think it was anything to do with the Bengals with Laxey Day. Like they just got locked up.
Yeah. Yeah, I have a hard time evaluating the Bengals offense because it was just horrible conditions. Obviously, Deshaun Watson fared better, but it's I'm not by all means that panicked about the Bengals. I think they'll be just fine. They're still my division winner pick, but it's pretty difficult to excuse 82 passing yards in an NFL game. You could literally be in a tornado, but today's NFL, 82 passing yards in a game is very difficult to excuse. The Bengals themselves as a team only had 142 yards of offense. I mean, that's criminal. That is criminally bad in
That's a
today's
quarter
era.
of offense
Yeah, and
in today's
obviously,
league.
again, as I'll reiterate, I think I still have the Bengals winning a division, but man, that was an ugly game. I had them as my biggest disappointment. Conditions sort of take away from that, but I mean, it's still pretty challenging to accept that. Um, I think my best team of the week, though, I think the 49ers looked fantastic. I think their defense
Oh
is
my god.
unbelievable. I think Brock Purdy plays at a plenty adequate level for this team to win a lot of games. He's not an elite quarterback, he's not even a very good quarterback. But Brock Purdy is plenty good enough for this team to win a lot of football games.
Yeah, there was a stat. It was during the game, but they had 250 yards in Yak,
Yeah,
and the game wasn't over.
yeah. Ayuk went
Like
crazy McCaffrey.
250 yards in Yak
Hmm.
is that's just unless they're that wide open, that's poor tackling. But
Yeah.
I'm really glad that Steelers fans got the wake up call because they were so happy. with these preseason drives
Oh
with
man.
people that work at Walmart now
Yeah.
were playing in because they scored 5 in a row. I'm so glad they got the wake up call because
Yep.
everyone thought that Kenny Pickett was about to have like the Josh Allen season rise up,
Yeah.
and they got right back down to earth.
Yeah,
I still
I
think they won't lose. For some reason, I don't know. I feel like Tomlin's always gonna have that that winning season,
yeah, he's never
but
finished with a losing season in his career.
man, am I glad that them Steelers fans got to wake up.
Yeah, I thought Kenny really struggled. He had the single worst pass EPA per play of the weekend of any quarterback. He had the second worst EPA per play. Um, but I mean, everybody looks bad against the 49ers. I think that
That's
you
true.
the disappointing part is if I was a Steelers fan, I thought watching the game back, I thought he missed a lot of throws that most NFL quarterbacks should be hitting to make the game respectable. To keep the game respectable, there were a lot of big misses. The thing is, I think, and I picked T.J. Watt to be my defensive player of the year. I think their defense, including him, is just still really good. But I mean, this is an extension of last season where they were playing a horrible offense year in and year out, and in an offensive game, sorry, week in and week out, and in an offensive game like today, you cannot succeed with an offense that bad. Um, I don't know what to make of them. I'm not throwing the baby out with the bathwater yet. I think that they can be still really good, but man, that was a really tough game. Um,
I could be wrong. Sorry.
no,
I
go
could
ahead.
be wrong, but I swear I saw that they had 1 yard in the entire third quarter. I could be wrong, but I
No, that
swear
I
the
know what
Steelers
you're talking
offense
about.
had 1 yard in the entire third
I
quarter.
saw that tweet. I think that was the Seahawks game. I thought I think
Seahawks game? Okay.
yeah, I think the Seahawks had like there was a point where it was the fourth quarter and they had 1 yard in the entire second half. I could be wrong. Somebody leave a comment on this episode if who it actually was. Um, but yeah, those I definitely I'm excited. Football's back. And obviously with both hosts being an AFC East fan or AFC East fans, that's where we're gonna head next. Deuce, it's a double-edged sword for you, buddy. Where do you want to start? The debacle of Monday Night Football or the absolute slugfest in LA this week?
We'll just get it out the way. We'll
Yeah,
we'll talk
we'll
about the
start.
Bills first.
Bills
Uh
take a
that was
loss.
my biggest
Yeah,
that was my
20
biggest disappointment.
22 to 16 in overtime. Josh Allen moves to 0 and 5 in his career in overtime. Now Bills fans all do not need to be reminded, but I'm going to go ahead and remind them that they single-handedly forced the NFL to change overtime rules for Josh Allen to go 0 and 5 in overtime. Deuce, let me hear your thoughts both as a Bills fan and a football fan.
Yeah, it was pretty ugly, especially I think what happened was, and I guess this doesn't have to do with the offense, but I think when Aaron Rodgers went down, everyone kind of packed in the W, put it in
Yeah.
their pocket, and we're like, "Oh yeah, we practiced 2 straight weeks for Aaron Rodgers, trying to make sure we're on our P's and Q's." And
Mm-hmm.
then Zach Wilson went in, and I know it shouldn't affect the offense because the defense is playing against Zach Wilson, but not the offense. But I think when Josh Allen saw Zach Wilson come in, I literally thought he was like, "I'm just gonna blow the top off, and if if I make a mistake, my defense got me."
Yeah.
And I can't. I haven't seen the all 22 film, which gives you like the sky view
Yeah.
of all those of all the interceptions in the game that I will look at, and I'll probably have a better analysis in our next episode. But I can't give you any sort of, or Josh Allen for sake, any sort of excuse on any of those throws where I could be like, well, I think he saw this or I think he saw that. He legitimately threw it up and said, someone's down there.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was double coverage. Not no, the third play or the third pick. Someone did say that Gabe Davis should have faked inside to hold the safety a little bit
Yeah,
longer to
I
get
did
rid of the
hear that,
offside.
but
But
it was
my
just a
man
horrible
just
decision.
backpedaled and broke on
Yeah.
the ball in stride, picked it off.
Yeah.
I just think he's not. I think he's a I think it was two reads all game.
Yeah.
I don't think he got past his second read
Yeah.
and tried to throw the ball the entire game. I think it was 1-2 if it wasn't there. Then he's running around the backfield, got sacked 5 times, three
Yeah.
picks and a fumble. It, I can't make up anything that would be positive out of this game, to be honest. Besides the fact that
Yeah.
every year when we do go 4-5-0, there's always that pressure to keep going
Yeah.
undefeated. That's the only thing I can say that I'm glad about is that we got that loss out of the way
Uh-huh.
and that we can build from that. We like being underdogs, so
Yeah.
shoot, yeah. I don't think we could have done anything better to be an underdog now, but
Yeah. My big takeaway in um I think that Bills fans have a perception of Josh Allen that is just incorrect, that he is just a secure pocket passer who's not going to make a lot of mistakes. Josh Allen, by definition, is a high variance gunslinger. He's going to turn the ball over a lot, but he's also, which makes him so good, which is why he's an elite quarterback, he is going to make plays that no other quarterback can make. But, we've seen the last 3 years, he's had 16 turnovers, 18 turnovers, 19 turnovers. That is horrendous, absolutely horrendous. Your starting quarterback is turning the ball over probably once per game. It's the ball security has to be better for this team to go anywhere. I thought, now obviously versus Zach Wilson. Zach Wilson's a horrible quarterback so far in his career. Defense was expected to play great, and I thought they did. To be honest, I thought Milano played fantastic, but I thought the Bills safeties looked slow. I thought honestly their entire secondary looks slow,
they don't
and
want to tackle.
oh yeah, nobody wants to tackle Brees Hall. Um, but my big takeaway, I've still got the Bills winning the division, although it's a lot closer than I thought it ever would have been. But man, I mean, I think that was one of, if not the worst game of his career, which sucks because that was a winnable road division game that frankly, I'm sorry, I think you got to win that game.
100%. I truly do think it's probably the worst game that he's
Yeah.
ever played. He had another 4 turnover game. I don't like off the top of my head can't remember when that was. Only thing I will say is that no one has scored more touchdowns than Josh Allen in the
Yeah.
first 5 years of being
Yeah.
a
That is true.
quarterback.
That is what.
But that's why in Bills fans' eyes, like I'll be outside of the Bills locker
Mhm.
room. In Bills' eyes, yeah, he has all those turnovers, but then I guess the ratio gets a little bit
Yeah.
closer because of the touchdowns. So
Right.
if I'm getting two
Yeah.
picks before touchdowns, that doesn't look so bad. But when
Right.
it's the other way around, when I'm getting
Correct.
4 picks, 2 touchdowns, then it's like, oh shit.
Yeah, I think that's just the narrative that people need to understand, is that he is just a crazy gunslinger who's going to make, when everything is looking great and everything's working out, it's going to seem like he can walk on water, and he'll have those games where he'll go 400 all-purpose yards and 5 scores to 1 pick, and Bills beat some bottom feeder team by 18 scores. And then he'll have games like this where he just can't move the ball. I thought everything he did was panicked. I think that, I'm a big narrative guy. I think that's a huge hit for his narrative. Do I still think he's an elite quarterback? Yes. Do I think there is a massive gap between him and Mahomes? I mean, Mahomes is a huge gap between everybody, but I'll put now Burrow obviously had a horrible game. I'm sorry, I'm taking Burrow over him 10 times out of 10, and I think that the gap between, and I'm going to say it, I think the gap between Josh Allen and healthy Tua Tagovailoa is not that big. I don't think it's nearly as big as people think it is. Is Josh better right now? Yes. but man, I don't know how. I don't know. I don't
Does
think
Tua have a
people.
playoff win?
No, he's been in the
Then
NFL
how can
3 years.
and
But
there's five
I'm talking. And I
in
don't.
the 3 years that
It took Josh
Tua's been in
Allen.
the
It
NFL?
took
Josh
Josh
Allen's
Allen.
been in the playoffs
It took Josh
and
Allen
has won a
4
playoff game.
years to win a playoff game. That's the bar. This is Tua's 4th year in the NFL.
4,
Yes. He
3.
missed. He missed. I thought he missed the first 2 years and then lost the third year.
Oh, to win a playoff game.
Yeah,
Okay, yeah, to
to
win a
win a
playoff game.
playoff
Yeah,
game
yeah.
because the
Okay,
Dolphins
yeah,
made the playoffs to his third year too. But it took
yeah.
Josh Allen 4 years to win a playoff game, and this is to his 4th year.
Okay.
But that's all I'm saying. Is Josh better right now? Yes, very little question in my mind. But I think that people who think he is miles better than Tua and even other quarterbacks in that tier, Tua, Herbert, Hurts. I think actually I'd put Hurts over him, but he turns the ball over too much for me. But
Yeah.
now, oh, go ahead.
With that, I told you I was gonna try to dissect that press conference post
Yeah,
game.
he looked
I don't know
miserable.
if you saw it. He looked like he didn't know what happened.
Yeah,
Like, I don't know. He literally looked like he watched the film in the locker room, walked out, went to the press conference, and had like no idea
what just happened?
who that was.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Moving on to the happy side. Well, I guess both sides are happy for me. Dolphins win a thriller in LA 36-34, and man, anybody who didn't get to watch that game, you missed out on a treat. Just a crazy back and forth game, just absolute pond hockey, almost zero defense being played. Tua Tagovailoa, 466 yards passing, 3 touchdowns, 1 pick. I mean, outside of a couple throws that he'd like to have back, I think that is the best professional game he has played. Dolphins, believe it or not, Deuce, did not take a single offensive snap with the lead until their kneel down possession in the fourth quarter. They were constantly playing from even or behind, and I think Tua really, I mean, some of the throws he had, especially the 3rd and 10, 47-yard bomb to Tyreek Hill to put them in a position to win that game, just really fantastic quarterback play. If he can keep this up and the Dolphins offense can keep this up, it's really difficult to stop.
Yeah, that was a shootout. Oh, good old classic shootout.
Mm-hmm.
I cannot believe, and this is more. I don't know if this is Brett. Is it Brandon Staley, right?
Yeah, Brandon Staley. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Brandon Staley already has 1.5 strikes, but
Mm-hmm.
I don't know who goes into the game facing the two fastest receivers in the NFL and said, "Hey, listen, we're gonna play man 82% of the time."
Yeah.
I don't know who does that. I don't know who's that confident.
Yeah.
I don't care if you had the two best corners, which in my eyes would be Jalen and Jair out there, or Sauce even out there.
Yeah.
And you're like, "Oh, we're gonna play man." That's a track race.
Yeah.
And especially because it was so high scoring and the ball was moving up and down,
Mm-hmm.
and we're gonna sit here and play man, we're gonna be gassed.
Yeah.
Let them run and let us play zone, and they exert all their energy. Now I understand like scheme, whatever. They might have been running something that they liked versus man, but I just don't know. I don't care how much NFL knowledge you have. 1-on-1 versus Tyreek Hill ain't gonna work.
Yeah. You are losing.
It's gonna work
that.
1 out of 10 times,
Yeah.
if that. Maybe 0 out of 10.
Yeah.
It's different if you're gonna bracket them, if you're gonna double cover. They played flat out man 80% of the time, just like we're backyard football.
Yeah.
And I can't believe that. And Brandon Staley, defensive minded coach,
Mm-hmm.
I think that's on him.
Yeah.
And I just don't understand how someone is that. It's not even real like blindly confident that
Yeah.
that was going to be the successful game plan.
Yeah, that's been the Chargers Waterloo in the Brandon Staley era. They're pretty much a bottom five defense in every metric you can imagine. I was,
And
I don't
that's
know
why they
how
got him
much.
for
Yeah,
defense.
and they spend a lot of money on defensive players. Derwin James, Khalil Mack, Joey Bosa, all of JC Jackson, all of these players are top 7 in contracts in terms of total money at their position. That's a lot of money to give up 36 points at home. The thing was to me, Deuce, I don't know how much of you or that you watched the game. I thought Mike McDaniel came in with a fantastic scheme, a lot of pre-snap motion. Almost 75% of their offensive plays involved pre-snap motion, but it's different. Last year, when the Dolphins, everybody thought they got figured out by the Chargers, a lot of their motion was across the entire formation, allowing safeties to switch their alignments. This time, what you saw a lot of was same side motion, Tyreek Hill or Jalen Waddle or somebody lining up in the slot, getting motioned quickly out to the sideline and getting a head start downhill. And there's nothing scarier as a defensive back than Tyreek Hill running at you full speed. It is unguardable. I thought Mike McDaniel had the Chargers linebackers in an absolute box the entire game. I think Kenneth Murray, the Chargers middle linebacker, I thought he was horrible. If you watch some of the film of his, every single play action, he is getting sucked 8 yards downhill in the line of scrimmage, and you're seeing somebody come over the middle of the field wide open.
When
Um,
y'all don't even run the ball.
yeah, yeah. It was a complete opposite. The Chargers were running the entire game. They had actually scored a touchdown drive with 11 carries and an incomplete pass and 0 completed passes, which in today's NFL is unheard of. And the Dolphins just playing Madden, just 46 pass attempts or something like that. Just completely just downfield chucking. It was 10.4 yards per attempt Tua had that game. It felt like every single ball he was throwing was 11, 12 yards downfield, which is just incredible. I thought Justin Herbert played fine. Um, I I don't know. I personally think he's been given a little too much slack for this game and a lot of games in his career. Yes, the defense gave up 36 points, but he had the ball with an opportunity to win the game with less than 2 minutes to go, two timeouts. All needing was a field goal. Needs about 30, 40 yards, and he can't get that. I'm sorry, that's on him. Do I think he played a good game? Yeah, I think he played a fine game. But I think that the biggest thing was this offseason, the new offensive coordinator coming in, everybody talking, oh, they're going to push the ball down the field, push the ball down the field. Almost 80% of Justin Herbert's pass attempts were within 10 yards of the line of scrimmage there. I don't know if that's by design or if we just need to accept that's the player he is. I really think they've got to start pushing the ball downfield more.
Yeah, with that pre-snap motion that you were talking about with the Dolphins, when you do same side like that, all that all that Tyreek Hill has to do is motion and get past that outside receiver, and that's the most quickest indicator that it's going to be man or zone, because whoever was lined up in front of him is either going to cross face with that other receiver that he's running past, or they're just going to switch
Yeah,
and bump out. So I think that helped Tua a lot.
yeah,
Be able to identify where he's going to go with the ball versus on man or zone coverage.
yeah,
And I think Tua played very good, but the number 2 person I would say is fucking JC Jackson.
yeah, yeah. I thought
When we
GC was
talk about
horrible.
highway a heist,
Yeah,
absolute heist. JC Jackson's getting paid that much money to jog, not tackle, and run through people's backs
hmm
on I don't even know
inexcusable
what down it was,
penalties.
but 6 seconds left.
Yeah,
They had the ball in the opposite 30.
there's 2 seconds
I,
left. They
yeah,
cannot reach the end zone. He just chucks it for nothing, and you get 3 points out of it. Just
un, um, unbelievable. It
yeah,
was prideless, is what I think it was.
yeah,
He did not want to touch anyone.
yeah, yeah. I still think certain Dolphins fans are overreacting a little too much. Yes, I mean their offense looked completely unstoppable, but you got to remember it is 1 week. People are going to watch film, but at the end of the day, obviously, nothing really changes. It's the exact same team we knew about, except maybe an average offensive line, which is an upgrade. But at the end of the day, it all comes down to health and how certain players are able to stay healthy. Do I think this week pole vaults them into the top 4 teams in the NFL? No. Do I think that they looked really good? Yes. I've still got them as of right now at 11-6 in the top wild card. Unless if you show me a month straight of this offense with a little bit better defense, then yeah, then we can start talking playoff wins and Super Bowl aspirations. But until right now, I'm sorry, I'm not. Week 1 is traditionally the most overreacted week in football. Let's let's see it for a little. Um,
Yeah, the
I
weekend warriors.
Yeah, I want to. Another thing I want to talk about too. I actually thought the Patriots, the last AFC East team we haven't talked about yet, I thought the Patriots looked way better than I thought they would against the Eagles. They outscored them 20-9 after they got blitzed in the first quarter. Jalen Hurts, and I told you about. I was texting you about it. I've got him in fantasy. I thought that he was miserable. I did not think he looked good at all. And Mac Jones, I'm a Mac Jones hater. I got to give credit where it's due. I thought Mac played a pretty solid game.
No, yeah, I definitely think Mac played a pretty solid game. That second half, like I was saying earlier, he was. I don't want to say he was on fire, but it seemed like he finally found a rhythm.
Yeah.
And I feel like all of last year, that offense and him never really got a rhythm. They finally got that rhythm like mid third quarter and just started
Yeah.
marching down the field. Kendrick Bourne stepped up with I don't think Juju's hurt, but Kendrick Bourne had the most catches and
Yeah, no,
touchdowns,
Juju played, but
88
he just
yards.
he as I said on as I was texting you about, he had 7 targets, 4 catches for 33 yards. You know, just that's just
Yeah,
sort of is what he is.
yeah, pretty pedestrian. But yeah, I think I always know the defense was always solid,
Yeah.
but offense had some flashes yesterday.
Yeah.
I do think the defense caught on in the second half to what the Eagles wanted to do.
hmm
Obviously, they're going to get turnovers. They always got. I think they got a fumble and a pick.
Yeah.
Could be
No,
wrong about the pick,
Hurst
but I
didn't
saw the
throw a
fumble.
pick, but yeah,
He didn't throw a pick, yeah, so he
he
got
did
that fumble.
fumble. Yeah. Um
But
I
yeah, I think the
okay.
Pats defense is solid. I think they're going to do good.
Yeah.
The Pats, I think, are really unique because of the man that they play.
Yeah.
They play a lot of man switch, which is really hard to do, especially in the NFL. But if everyone's on the same page, that's really hard to pick apart.
Yeah. The surprising part to me, they did not run the ball well, and they've traditionally been a solid running team, especially in the post Brady era. 22 carries for 76 yards is not impressive at all. Ramondre Stevenson, 12 carries for 25 yards is pretty putrid for the hype he was getting. Um, Mac
I think
Jones
Zeke
threw
had
the
like
ball 50.
29.
Yeah, Zeke was 7 for 29. But I think
Yeah.
most games when Mac Jones throws the ball 54 times, you're probably going to lose. Even though I'm not sure if I'm putting all this game on him, but Mac Jones throwing the ball 54 times is usually never a recipe for success. Um,
Ye-
Go ahead.
No, I don't know if he's gonna say something else.
No, I was gonna say I do segueing into Thursday night football, we've got Vikings at Eagles. I was going to say I do like the Eagles to bounce back, and we'll get into our full week predictions in a second. But Deuce, what are your thoughts about this Thursday night game? What are the matchups you like? Who's your X factor in this game?
So my X factor this game is gonna be Darius Slay because last time they played, Jetta got locked up, and I don't know if
Yeah,
a lot of people remember that. He got 2 picks when Kirk Cousins tried to target Jetta in the red zone, and I don't remember how much yardage Jetta actually had, but he got straight up locked up all game. Now, obviously, There might have been some bracketing and stuff like that. It might have not been all one-on-one, but I think that the Eagles last year had a very, very good game plan to take Justin Jefferson out the game, and if they just dust that off and do it again, I think it'll be fine because
Mhm.
I don't think the Vikings' run game is anything special, and Kirk Cousins is not too good
Yeah.
under the lights.
Yeah.
I hate to say it.
Yeah.
He doesn't do good under the lights. Kirk Cousins played. Oh no, I guess it was Case Keenum in that
Mhm.
playoff game 4 years ago. But they, I don't have much faith in the Vikings, and we already reiterated that. I think
Yeah.
the Eagles big bounce back game. They'll come back home in their own locker room, and I think they run them out.
Yeah.
I just don't. I don't think the Vikings have much in them. I think they got exposed towards the second half of the season, even though they had the crazy Colts come back and they
Bills
barely
come
beat the
back.
Giants the first game, but the Giants came back. Oh, don't even start on the Bills game.
Yeah.
That anyone I could have went out there and guarded that and told you to play the damn receiver and not the ball. I don't know why. I won't even get into that. I want to get into that because that was one of the worst
Yeah.
plays I've ever seen defensively made on a receiver, but that's besides the point. Let me not get
Yeah.
too
I
worked
uh
over.
I also have Eagles big. Um I don't think the Vikings can keep up. I think the Eagles came out really flat against the Patriots. I don't think it's going to happen again. After the Eagles' explosive first quarter, I thought they looked very mediocre. Uh, my X factor is Jalen Carter. I don't know how much you watched that game. Jalen Carter was an absolute beast. He had 8 pressures, which was tied for the most of any defensive tackle. He had his first sack. He was constantly wreaking havoc. And this is a guy who was rumored to be a top 3 pick in the draft. Personal issues, the whole car racing fiasco, whatever happened with that, caused him to drop somehow to the Eagles, and he fits right in like a glove. I like the Eagles comfortably. I think that Hurts is going to be too much. I think Jefferson is still going to get his, and I've got Eagles. I like Eagles to roll.
Same. I like that. Yeah, Eagles are rolling hands down. I think the Vikings, like I said, are frauds, and
Yeah,
I don't think they're gonna get away with much this year.
yeah. With that, let's do. So last week we should have, but we didn't. Uh, we're gonna start making weekly predictions for those listening in. Every week I'll announce our records, our winning percentages, and our picks for the week. So I'm gonna start us off, Deuce. We both have Eagles, it sounds like.
Yep.
Ravens, Bengals. Who do you like in that one? I've got
Oh,
Bengals in a close one.
I got Ravens. I
Okay.
last. Oh no, I guess that was last year where Jamar Chase went crazy. Was that last year? Where he had like 270 yards. That might have been two
Uh,
years ago.
yeah, I don't know. I remember the
I don't
Chiefs
know,
game
but
of
I
last
got the
year.
Ravens.
Okay. All right. Um, Seahawks at Lions. Your Seahawks. Who do you like
And
here?
my Lions. And my Lions.
Yeah,
I'm gonna
it's
have to
right.
take my Lions.
Yeah, I
The
also.
Seahawks last year just like scooted through there, but
Mm,
I think Lions at home after that big win, I think they got everything figured out. Seahawks look very, very bad, and I think there's too much to fix in 1 week.
yeah, I agree. I don't love or West Coast teams traveling east through time zones. Also, um, next one, little bit of a snooze fest. Colts at Texans. I've got Colts in an ugly game. I thought Anthony Richardson looked okay in his first game. I don't love his accuracy. I don't love the Colts team in general, but I thought he looked like most other rookie quarterbacks would in that situation.
Yeah, I don't know, man. You're right. I think Anthony Richardson, he didn't look great, but I think he looked decent and not
Yeah,
piss poor.
yeah,
But it's really hard because the Ravens played the Texans real good.
yeah,
It's gonna be hard to try to pick the Texans. I just don't think they threw the ball a ton,
yeah,
and I feel like Robert Woods did go. That was like basically CJ Stroud's number one target. but I guess I'm gonna have to go Colts.
Yeah.
I think coaching and I guess they're not home, but I just think the Colts look better. They kind of like at least fought most of the game.
Yeah.
I feel like the Texans were just trailing the entire game and trying to play catch up.
Right. Next one, Bears at Bucks. I've got Bucks. I think Justin Fields really struggled week one. I think, and I was texting you about it as well. I think Justin Fields gets too much slack. Too many times do I hear about how bad his situation is. And don't get me wrong, no quarterback can succeed in a really bad situation. But I think you have to show me something as a passer that you are worth a starting job in the NFL. And I don't think he's had a single game in the NFL like that. His explosive plays are all runs, which are great, but are not sustainable. And I like Baker. I don't think he's great, but I thought he was serviceable week one. I got the Bucks in a close one, low scoring game though.
I'm gonna have to take the Bucks as much as I do like Justin Fields. Last year, even though last year's kind of different from this year, last year when Justin Fields played the Bucks, that O line got absolutely tormented.
Yeah.
I don't follow the Bears that much, but I don't think there was that many acquisitions to shore up that offensive line.
No.
I think that defense is gonna go crazy, defensive line wise, like as just
Yeah.
mauling them.
Yeah.
I think the Bucks win.
Next one, Chiefs at Jags. I bet you're itching to take Jacksonville in this one, Deuce.
Itching, itching. The only thing that's deterring me is they signed Chris Jones.
Hmm.
Their morale will probably be back up. I think for you, I think Kadarius Tony's gonna get force fed with food, get him his confidence back up, and
Yeah.
probably score a touchdown. I want to pick the Jags real bad. I just don't think Mahomes has ever lost two in a row. Someone can fact check me in the comments. I don't see Mahomes and Andy Reid losing two in a row.
Yeah.
I really, really, really badly want to pick the Jags.
Just do it, man. You gotta
So
just
I'm
do
gonna
it.
just pick the Jags.
All right.
I told you my logistics, but
All right.
we're playing pick 'em.
All right.
I gotta somehow
Yeah, you gotta take a
take a
leap of
lead
faith.
yeah, leap of faith.
I'm
So
gonna
I'm gonna pick
go.
the
I'm gonna
Jags.
go Chiefs
Close
big.
one.
I think I've got Chiefs big. I think that Mahomes and Reed, especially if Travis Kelsey comes back, are going to come out playing like they've never played before. Everybody's talking about how the Chiefs' kingdom has fallen after week one. I like Chiefs to roll in this one. Next game, Packers at Falcons. Um, I've got Packers. I think that the Falcons looked okay on offense. I thought Bijan Robinson and Tyler Algier looked really good, but Desmond Ritter is just. I do not see Desmond Ritter as an NFL quarterback. I thought Jordan Love wasn't asked to do a ton, but I thought he made a lot of plays week one. Believe it or not, actually the highest EPA per play of any quarterback through week one, 245 yards, three touchdowns. I thought he looked pretty good. He was fantastic on third down, too. I like Packers, decent, maybe 10 to 14 points.
Yeah, I definitely would pick the Packers. The Falcons had a good game last week against the Panthers, so I guess it doesn't say too much.
Yeah,
24-10 victory. Bijan looked real good. Run game looked very good, but like you said, Desmond Ritter definitely still a question mark. Don't
yeah,
really have much faith. And the Packers looked real good, and that was a big. I don't want to say a big fu to Aaron, but
yeah,
they look like they didn't miss a beat.
yeah. All right, now Raiders at your Buffalo Bills, 1 o'clock. I'll tell you firsthand, I am dying to take the Raiders, but I'm gonna take the Bills in a pretty comfortable one. I think Josh is gonna run a lot. I think that Diggs is gonna catch a lot. I like Bills by multiple scores.
Can you give me one actual reason that you'd be confident in picking the Raiders
Uh, Josh Allen just had 4 turnovers and lost to Zach Wilson.
on
That's
the
my
Raiders team though?
Jimmy Garoppolo is better than Zach Wilson. That's my reasoning. My reasoning would solely be the reason why I want to take them is because I truly thought that was the worst Bills game I've ever seen in my life. But obviously, do I think it's going to happen again? No. So I'm going Bills, and I like Bills big. I like Josh, lots of rushing yards. Um, I've got Bills comfortably.
Yeah, this is a great slide in off a loss with us getting gifted with the Raiders, especially at home, first home
Oh, you
opener.
better watch. You
We
better watch out with that click getting gifted with the Raiders. You better hope they not lose.
I no, I'll say it again, gifted with the Raiders.
All right.
We don't, even though we lost in the playoff game last year, we don't lose at home.
Yeah.
We're very. I think we play immensely different home versus away. Obviously, Bills Mafia.
Yeah.
I think we're putting up 40 points.
Okay. You heard it here first. Deuce thinks
A
Bills putting up
good 40.
40 plus
If
points.
I don't care if it's 32-5 or 32-2
You want them scoring.
with 5 minutes left, I think that we punch that shit in again
Okay.
because it's a
You
statement.
need to send a
At
message
this point, we have to send a message.
to
We
people like me.
cannot have a 21-17 win. That would be terrible. That would basically be 0-2. 40.
Okay.
40.
All right. Chargers at Titans. Who do you like in this one?
I like the Chargers. The Titans looked absolutely god awful,
Yeah.
and I have DeAndre Hopkins on my fantasy team, and I feel so bad for that man.
Yeah.
He picked the wrong team. Granted, he got his money. I hope that 16 mil or whatever he made this year is way better feeling than
Going to a
Ryan
competitive
Tannehill
team.
throwing in the football. Because
Yeah.
Lord, it's different if a quarterback can't make the comeback route, timing routes, can't
Yeah.
hit those on time, post routes, in breaking routes. He's a little late. If you can't throw a fade, I don't know. If you can't throw a vertical route,
Yeah.
what are we doing?
Yeah.
I was saying in the chat, I've never played quarterback a day in my life. I still think I could throw a better fade route than
Yeah.
Ryan Tannehill displayed in that Saints game
Yeah.
because he tried to throw it up to. First of all, he had 2 picks off of throwing it up to D Hop in double coverage. I know if we're gonna go back, he caught it over 3 people in Buffalo.
Yeah.
Completely different, but I don't know a quarterback that can't throw a fade route.
Yeah. I also.
And it's not like they didn't practice.
Yeah.
I was just so confused. It hurt my brain. It hurt my brain to watch.
Yeah, I've got Chargers as well. I thought the Chargers rushing, if the Chargers can run the ball like that this season, I think they're going to be really scary on offense. Bottom line, coming from a Dolphins fan, Ryan Tannehill's days are done. Ryan Tannehill is not an NFL quarterback anymore. The Titans, I don't have them winning more than 6 games. Uh, I've got Chargers big time as well as 49ers at Rams. I have 49ers big time. Again, I said it earlier. I think they looked like the best team in the NFL. Uh, so for good reason, I've got them comfortably in at LA.
Yeah, I'll pick 49ers. I will say, just for reference, I think in the first quarter, maybe the first half, I think the Rams are going to play them hard,
Yeah.
divisional game. But I think by the second half, as soon as, what's his name? Kyle figures it out, I think
Yeah.
they run him out the gym.
Yeah.
Kind of like the Seahawks game where they're playing them close and then just ran him out the gym.
Yeah.
I think that's how it'd be.
Giants at Cardinals, ugly one. I've got the Giants to bounce back. I think they're going to look better than last week, but the Cardinals, at the end of the day, are really, but really not good.
Yeah, I want to pick the Cardinals because I didn't mind. I mean, granted, you're watching versus the Commanders. I didn't mind until the fourth quarter how they played because all they needed was, I think, a field goal even before the touchdown just to extend
Yeah.
the lead. And in the fourth quarter, they just absolutely forgot how to play football. Couldn't
Yeah.
move the ball for nothing. I but besides the first 3 quarters, I didn't mind what I saw based on the talent level that was out there.
Yeah.
I do think that Dayball is definitely going to bounce back. He's a good enough coach to where they definitely don't lose to a bad team like the Cardinals. I
Yeah.
think they bounce back.
Okay.
Uh,
Yeah.
yeah,
Cowboys hosting the Jets, the 1-0 New York Jets. I've got Cowboys big. I can't. Cowboys looked really good. I can't choose Zach Wilson to win on the road. I've
yeah, I
got
think
Cowboys
Cowboys win
rolling.
real big.
Um,
Yeah, Cowboys win huge.
not much to say about that one.
Yeah,
Um, Commanders at
barn burner.
Broncos. I've got Broncos close. I thought Russell Wilson looked efficient, but he wasn't. They didn't have a lot of explosive plays. I thought he looked like an average NFL quarterback, but I like the Broncos defense at home to hold.
Yeah, I think yeah, you said Russell Wilson played decent quarterback play. It took him a while to get going, and I feel like that's what was the narrative for the preseason games. It just took them a real long time to actually get something going.
Yeah.
When they started getting going and rolling, he looked all right. The Commanders, yeah, they were all hyped about their Cardinal win. Not yet last night, but this weekend.
Yeah.
Same kind of deal when they beat the Ravens and their preseason streak ended, yada yada. I
Yeah.
don't believe in the Commanders. I do hope they would be good, but there's just too many better teams that I don't think that would happen.
Yeah.
I definitely think that the Broncos win here, figure it out.
Yep. Next one, my Miami Dolphins Sunday night heading to New England. I've got the Dolphins. I've got them by 10 points plus. I've got them by two scores. I think Vic
10
Fangio,
points.
yeah, I think Vic Fangio figures it out. I think the offense isn't going to look as good as it did in LA, but I like the offense to roll. I like the Dolphins by multiple scores.
10 point. Did you guys pull them out last year, week 2? In Miami? Was that was that a
It
blowout?
was about 10-point win, I think.
Okay.
I
I
was
guess.
there,
Okay.
but they scored a defensive touchdown that game too. Excuse me. But yeah, I like Fangio to figure it out. I like something in the realm of like 24-14 or 27-17. What do you got?
Um, you know me,
Do it.
man.
You
I'm
got to
Riverboat.
do it now.
I'm Riverboat.
You
Um, I I got the Patriots, man.
Yep,
I got
I
the
knew it.
Pats.
Let's go. Tua
I got the Pats by
Tagovailoa.
3.
Okay.
I got the Pats by 3. I think their defense is gonna figure something out. My only issue, I mean, I guess it's not an issue because the Dolphins defense was a turnstile this weekend, is that offense. But
Okay. I'm gonna
I think the defense is gonna figure something out.
I'm gonna
I just don't think the defense is gonna be that stupid to sit here and play. I think that man switch is gonna do something. I don't know how much they're gonna run it, but
yeah.
you can't play straight up man. I
I'm
think they're gonna
gonna
figure something out. I think they're
Okay.
gonna figure something out.
All right. I'm gonna
I
knock
think they're
on
gonna figure
wood.
something out.
Tua Tagovailoa is 4-0 against Bill Belichick in his career. I like that to continue to 5-0 and continue as the only quarterback to never lose to Bill Belichick. Um, Next one, Monday night doubleheader, Saints at Panthers. I've got Saints in an ugly one. I thought Derek Carr looked I thought Derek Carr looked fine in his debut. Um, he just he made some plays. He threw the ball downfield a lot. I thought Chris Olave looked great. I'm a big Bryce Young guy. I thought Bryce Young really, really struggled in his debut. Do I think he'll be bad? No, but he definitely looked like a rookie. I've got Saints comfortably.
Yeah, I got the Saints just because defense.
Yeah,
Yeah, Bryce Young didn't look too impressive week 1.
yeah,
Derek Carr looked decent
yeah.
for what they
Looked like an
got.
upgrade over last year for sure.
100%. So yeah, I got the Saints. Defense. I think the defense is gonna lock them up.
And lastly, leg two of the Monday night doubleheader, Cleveland Browns at the Pittsburgh Steelers. Deuce, are you gonna do it for our
You know
Steelers
I'm gonna
fans
do it,
friends out
bro.
there?
Oh, yeah, for especially for those Steelers fans. You cannot disregard the Browns after that win.
Yeah,
If they can stop Joe Burrow to score a 95 or to pass him for
82
95 yards, you're
yards.
telling me they
Yeah.
can't hold Pickett for 110 and a score?
Okay. I
And that the offensive line is we're gonna see if that offensive line is real different or not.
yeah. I actually also like the Browns.
I love
Um,
it. I love it. I love it.
I'm gonna go Browns by a touchdown. I think that Nick Chubb is going to have a really big game. I think Deshaun Watson played okay in his first game. The only thing I'm worried about for the Browns is the Steelers' defensive line. Now, Cam Hayward is a massive loss. I don't know if you saw the news. Cam Hayward is out for weeks for sure. Rumor
Yeah,
is
I
about
are.
8 weeks plus. Um, that's a massive hit. TJ Watt, I think, had a great game. Other than that, I didn't see a lot to love on the Steelers. So I'm going to go Browns. And
Yep, that's
yeah, that wraps us up for our picks. And that's going to do it for episode 2 of the Helmet to Helmet pod. Um, Thanks for listening. Really hope you guys enjoyed the episode. Make sure to leave a rate, turn on that notifications, give us a follow on social media at the HTH pod. That's going to be a link in the description. We're going to hit you guys with another episode before a Sunday slate of game, so stay tuned for that. Follow us on social media, leave a rate, and we'll see you guys next time.